my family and I would like to thank you, all of you, for your thoughts, for your prayers, and for all the acts of kindness that you've performed over these recent days. Our father's passing occurred quite suddenly, and your kindness has helped us to cope. Monsignor Boggy and Mr. Snyder have already spoken eloquently regarding my father's life in the public sphere. I would like to supplement that by providing a couple of anecdotes about our father's life in the private sphere as a father. The first anecdote that comes to mind relates to when my brother Chris and I, in the company of Chris's friend Bill Fire, traveled to Australia in the summer of 1987, just after Chris had broken graduate from Georgetown University. We knew Dad to be a worrier, someone who constantly worried about his children's safety. And therefore, we weren't all that surprised when Dad presented us with a tight, single-spaced, 4-page memorandum of do's and don'ts, mostly don'ts, for our time down. The one item of advice I remember most vividly is, quote, do not engage in drinking bouts with the Australians. They're vicious drinkers. Well, Brooke and Chris did engage in drinking bouts with the Australians, and lost every time. I can still say that we appreciated the man. He worried about us so because he loved us so. Another thing that stands out about our dad is his love of singing. Monsignor Boggy has already mentioned our father singing in church. You may not know that during his last 2 hospital stays, he made a habit of serenading the nurses. He was a very gifted singer, as he demonstrated on many occasions with Georgetown University's Chimes Vocal Group. So skilled a singer was our father that the leaders of the Wood Acres Civic Association would customarily ask him to sing the national anthem at Wood Acres July 4th parade. We could hear him warming up in the mat of each July 4th morning, "Oh say can you see, oh say can you see." Then, in the afternoon, when it was time for him to sing the immortal words of Francis Scott Key, his delivery was pitch perfect. His love of singing was indicative of his love of life, and the care he took with his singing demonstrated his belief that anything worth doing was worth doing well. A third thing that stands out about my father, something that many of you will remember, was his love of the Godfather movies. There was no need to watch The Godfather. If inclined, one could simply ask our dad to recite God. During his final stay at Sibley Hospital, when he wanted a cup of water, his favorite way to ask for it was to turn to Chris and say, "Paul, more wine." Whatever kind of restaurant we might be in, be it steakhouse or Chinese or seafood, we could count on hearing Dad say, "Try the beer, it's the best in the city." And anytime we were crossing a state line, in DC or Maryland or Virginia or Delaware, I would turn to Dad and say, "We going to Jersey?" And Dad would smile and say, "Maybe." I think that part of why our notably law-abiding father so loved a movie about mafia lawmakers was because of the Godfather film's emphasis on family. Indeed, during his last hospital stay, when Kay was reinforcing doctor's advice on a point with which our father disagreed, he turned to Kay and said, "Don't ever take sides against the family again." Dad loved being a husband and father, being the leader of the family, offering advice, being a protector. With him, we always felt safe. With him, we always had that sense that no one and nothing was going to be allowed to harm us, not as long as our dad was there to look after us. All of us were so aware of Dad's love of family, and of his sense that Mario Puzo's Godfather books illustrated the importance of family, that there came one Christmas when I noticed that some of the wrapped presents for my dad were strikingly similar in size and shape. My father opened the first of those presents for our sister Kay, a copy of Mario Puzo's 2001 novel, The Family. Then, for brother Chris and sister-in-law Rebecca, a second copy of Mario Puzo's The Family. Next, for my wife Linda and me, a third copy of Mario Puzo's The Family. And finally, for our mom, one more time, a fourth copy of Mario Puzo's The Family. This was not planned, mind you, it just happened. And even if such a Christmas scenario sounds to you too much like something out of Paul Henry's short story The Gift of the Magi, it still provides a good example of how deeply we all knew that family meant everything to our dad. He came from a background of mixed Irish and German cultural heritage. From his Irish-American mother, he derived his deep Catholic faith, as well as a cultural heritage that he carried with him into Georgetown University. From his German-American father, he inherited what the Germans called Gemütlichkeit, a joyful love of life, along with an unstinting work ethic that he passed down to us as a living example. I can remember summers when I was working in the mailroom at the National Office Products Association building in Alexandria, watching each night as 5 p.m. rolled around and employees made a mass exodus for the exits. There might be a couple of diligent souls persisting till 5:15 or 5:30. And then there was my dad, staying as long as he had to, till the work was done. My brother and sister and I observed the example of hard work that he set, and later tried to emulate that example in our own careers. He was a staunch Republican and a very loyal Washington. When he was 12 years old in 1945, he received from his father, as a birthday present, a set of season tickets for the Washington Redskins. He remained a loyal Redskins fan all his life, suffering with the team through many difficult seasons, and it was a happy day for him each time the Redskins won one of their 3 Super Bowl victories. As already mentioned, he pursued his education in Washington, from Sacred Heart to Gonzaga to Georgetown. He left Washington to serve in the United States Navy before returning home to Washington, where he married our mother, Janet Ann Cook Haspel, at St. Anne's Church on Wisconsin Avenue. Throughout the 44 years of his marriage to our mom, and throughout his years as a father to Chris, Kay, and me, his dedication to our welfare and happiness was absolute. He would take our mother golfing because he knew how happy that made her. He would take Chris and Kay and me crabbing in the bays along the Delaware shoreline, or fishing out in the Rod and Reel Club in Chesapeake Beach, even though he probably would rather have been golfing with his friends, because he knew that would make us happy. He was happy to coach us in baseball or softball or basketball, anything that gave him a chance to be part of our lives, part of our interests. We knew that we could always share our joys and our troubles with him. We knew that he would always listen and understand and comfort and help us. That was the kind of father our dad was. He bore these recent years of illness with courage and grace, and left us with a steadfast example of how to bear life's moments of good and bad fortune alike. All of you were lucky enough to know Don Haspel as a friend, to experience his sociable nature, his ready wit, his love of music, his love of life. Only my brother Chris, my sister Kay, and I were fortunate enough to know him as a father.